it's from Gandalf in Lord of the Rings.
Is Gandalf the main one?
Yeah, Gandalf's the main one.
Is he the old man?
Yeah.
He's the one with the beard, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I was gonna say all of those. Like, I think I'm thinking of the Harry
looks
Potter
like
guy.
Jesus.
Who's the guy in Harry Potter?
Dumbledore.
He also has a white beard.
See, I think they're the same
I used
person.
to get confused too.
I think that Dumbledore and Gandalf are the same person.
Absolutely not.
I'm probably offending everyone.
Probably.
I don't fucking know, man. They look the exact same to me.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Sesh. I am Kendall.
And I'm Janelle, and we have our coloring books with us today, people.
Yes.
It is one of those beautiful episodes where we have to get our coloring books, so you know what that means.
We call this a therapy sesh, and we are due for it. And
Yes,
I feel like
we are.
many of you seem, especially from the comments last week, seem to be going through a lot as well. I know a lot of you believe that's due to Mercury retrograde and all the other planets in retrograde. I know some of you do not believe in that whatsoever.
And that's fine.
Either way, it seems like a lot of people are going through it lately.
Correct.
And yeah, it's like every single episode we've done through Mercury retrograde, we get on here and we talk about how bad the last week has been. And every week it just gets worse.
Yeah, it literally gets worse. So
It just gets
luckily,
worse.
the next episode, Mercury retrograde, will have ended.
Yeah.
Mercury
And we'll
Gatorade.
promise we'll have some fun. But today, like, we felt it would be best for us and probably for some of you guys out there to just have a deep talk
Honest.
and just open up about our feelings. And we're all going through a lot of personal things right now. I know we've been talking mostly about how retrograde has affected our work and our business.
Which
It
literally
has.
every day, everything we've tried to do, but like work-wise, is being affected.
Yeah, it's been really frustrating, especially because Janelle and I have been working super hard on the Gabby Petito case, and it has been very draining. We've also been working on the Jelani Day case, which if you've not heard of that, please look it up. It's just terrifying.
Yeah, it's really like trigger warning. It is
horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And we're eventually going to cover that too. It's been so hard to get information to come out. It's really shockingly different than how Gabby's case is being treated. But it's both of those cases have been so disturbing just mentally.
Yeah.
And obviously we love what we do and we want to give people information and help raise awareness in whatever we can. But we'd be lying if we said that sometimes these cases don't take a toll on us mentally.
Oh, yeah. And it's interesting because I feel like for me personally, I've had to try really hard to, when I started working for you, to like not obsess over these like stories to the point where like it's all I can think about, because unfortunately with my anxiety it's very easy for me to spiral or for me to get triggered by like one thing and then I'm thinking about it for the next
Me too.
week and I somehow like apply it to my life, or I'm all of a sudden scared that because I'm educated about it somehow it's going to happen to me. Like just it sucks. And so I've tried really hard to like not allow that, because it's just going to like ruin, like that would just like ruin things for me. Like if I wasn't able to like
and we have goals. We have, we just were able to make the largest donation we've ever made from our company. We made a donation to the Gabby Petito Foundation today for $50,000.
Unbelievable.
And that was due to our whole team's hard work. Karelly too has spent time working on editing body cam footage down, and it's been mentally draining on all of us, but it's so rewarding in the end to be able to do this.
Absolutely.
And so worth it. But yeah, it definitely can take a toll mentally. And I always know when I've gotten too into a case when I start dreaming about it. I've had so many dreams about Jelani and Gabby and just like scary dreams in general. So it's just been a lot mentally. And then getting it uploaded was so much work, because it's so different for us covering a case where information is breaking, because we have to work quickly.
Yeah.
We don't have a full week to edit the video. Like normally I'll film
Kendall's,
and then
you guys know her videos are like packed with tons of media, overlay,
and it's a long process. I've got to sit down and watch it. Sometimes I add things, and it's a collaborative thing that takes a long time.
Takes a long time, and to get it up in like a day and a half, 2 days, and they're huge. This is the longest video we've ever put out. Which again, I've like I said, I think it's my favorite video ever.
Me too.
Maybe aside from the Christian Dracula, because that was also a beautiful masterpiece. I think it was like absolutely such beautiful. But they were both really well done. Your videos are great in general, but this one just like really struck a chord.
Well, just talking so much about their family and their foundation and what they've done has just been so moving and emotional.
So recent. It makes you really think about it when it's like, wow, this is happening in real time. These press conferences that are coming out are happening in real time. These people are feeling this right now, and like,
Yeah, it changes it when you know the family just got this information that we got, which I'm not sure exactly when they were told things, but yeah, and it's just been a challenge that we've never faced, covering a case as it unfolds. You know, the last time I covered a case that was super recent like that was Chris Watts, which happened in Colorado. And I know many of you know that after that, I did one video on it and then I did one podcast and then I could not talk about it again. I was so horrified by that one.
Yeah, it's really...
that I couldn't even follow it for a while because I was just like so mentally disturbed by that one.
Yeah, it's really...
So this is the first time since then that we've really covered something as it's developing, and it leaves a very small amount of time for you to edit and upload because you want to make sure you have the most up-to-date information. You don't want to be filming and then a week later posting. But the last 24 hours, it was supposed to go up the day before, and YouTube, it was just stuck processing.
Just like so annoying because, like you said, and that's another reason why it's exhausting. Sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt, but like when you work all day on things and it's like you like totally dive into it, it's a lot for your brain to watch hours and hours of body cam footage over and edit it over and over again.
It can be very triggering.
It's really disturbing. And then but you have to like get up, so you have no time to like process. You kind of just like, all right, keep going. Like you almost like power through it in a sense, get this thing up. And then we did that, tried so hard to get it up on time, and then YouTube took a crap on us.
Yeah. And I mean, what else are we going to expect during retrograde? With the way everything else is going, I think it processed for 15 hours and we ended up just uploading a new version. It was unheard of. And
I went to,
it wasn't because how long it was either, because our podcasts are longer than that. They're much bigger files. Some people were worried that maybe it was because of the content, but I was hearing from a lot of other creators that they were having issues too. So it was just bad timing. And so that was stressful, but we finally got that out today. We made our donation today.
And it's so amazing.
It's feel all the good energy from that is made all the stress we've been through trying to work on this and emotional stress. All worth it.
Absolutely. Of course. Yeah, it's amazing. $50,000 is a lot of money. Like
I'm really
amazing.
Excited. Yeah. And I feel so confident doing that because this family is unbelievable. They really are. They're such incredible role models and exhibiting such strength that I feel so confident that they will help other people and that there's nowhere else I'd rather put, a donation towards. And normally we do a large donation every year. And I think this is a great place to make the big one too, because I know that they are going to do so much with that. And that's very clear with their press conferences that they have said over and over again how important it is that all missing persons cases are treated the way that Gabby's was. And we all know that they're not. So, and a lot of that's media, that's police, but I hope this case can be a change in some way or lead to a lot of other people being helped. Yeah. And that's the most wonderful way they could have possibly honored Gabby's life and what she was all about. Just an incredible family. So I feel very grateful that we are in a position to make a donation like that. And I'm excited to see where the Gabby Petito Foundation goes. I
know.
They're going to do amazing things.
They really are.
They are. And the fact they got this going so quickly.
Amazing. During the hardest thing they've ever gone through.
Yeah.
All four of them, at least from everything we can see, co-parenting so wonderfully, being together, getting matching tattoos. I mean, it's just, it really is like a beautiful example of like how humans are actually so resilient that like, I don't know how they do it, but somehow
it's
time
inspiring.
And time again.
It's so inspiring.
It's amazing. Families are able to prove, people are able to prove that in the worst times in their life, they're able to like stand up and keep fighting. And it's like, it's really amazing. They're amazing.
It says a lot about who they are and who Gabby was.
Yeah.
That she came from these amazing people.
Definitely.
So yeah, that has been a good feel good for today after everything we've got. It's been a lot of work and a lot of stress
the
and a huge
wouldn't
challenge.
Even go through for a while.
Yeah,
we couldn't up.
We had to do the donation in several different amounts, but we did it. It's all done.
It's so great.
And I feel I'm really happy to be able to do that.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm going to continue covering this. I cannot believe this guy has not been found. It's so unbelievable. We're going on a month. Or I think it was a month as of yesterday from when he officially left.
I can't believe it's been a month.
So yeah, I know. Time's flying by.
Jeez.
But we're not going to talk about true crime this whole episode. Obviously, this is the Sesh.
The Sesh, baby.
But yeah, we really felt like opening up to you guys about some personal stuff in our lives, which I'm like fairly private about a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I've never shared with anyone on the internet that
same.
I kind of want to open up today about vaguely,
Yep.
because I think that I'm at a point right now where I could really use support from people who understand. And I've gotten that from YouTube in so many different ways that I'm kind of ready to open up about this portion of my life.
Yep.
And
This
like
is a very relatable thing. I
yes,
feel like to so many.
it is. And yeah, so I
Hope
don't
you're
know
long.
even where to start.
I know. It's like, okay, so where do you start?
I hate coming out here and being a bummer. I know this show is fun for a lot of people, and I know I already can see the comments now of them being like, no, it's fine. We like to hear you open up. We like to. It makes us feel related. So I know it's going to be good. I just, for some reason, I want this show to be nonstop fun, and I like feel guilty getting on here upset. And I almost asked Janelle to cancel this episode. You know, I was like, I don't know if I can do it, dude. I'm like falling apart right now. I'm not doing well. And I don't know if I can get on here and be funny or like my spicy
really
self,
hard.
you know? I was just like, I'm like kind of like really drained.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I'll be okay.
You'll be
like,
okay.
No one should worry about me. But yeah, I mean, we all go through times like this, right? And sometimes it's hard to get on camera and perform when you feel miserable.
Crappy. Yeah, totally.
I just want to be my real self today.
But I think that's really valued. And you're right, because when I watch people on YouTube open up and be like, oh, I'm sorry, this is just another vlog of me complaining or me talking about my issues or whatever, I'm always like, in my head, I'm like, no. Like, I love hearing about, like, I'm like hearing about a friend, like I care, or I can relate to that, or I feel less lonely when I'm sad. So
it's so true.
So I totally get it. You know, I don't think it's like a bummer necessarily, you know, and we're real people. Like, we're not going to be like hilarious and bouncing off the walls, lighting things on fire all the time. Okay. We can't have fires every time. Kendall asked for the fire today and I was like, luckily she forgot about it before.
Yeah. Well, I figured, you know, maybe we'll wait till after retrograde to bring the fire thing back out.
Can we just wait to play with fire until after Mercury?
Like, I made a safe solution for it though. So it's on a little metal plate.
Great. A metal plate, guys. Did you hear that? That's good shit. Metal plate.
Don't worry. Firefighter Ken is going to be here if we have any issues.
Seriously, my
and side note, it's so funny. I just wanted to comment on last week's episode. Listening back to it, there were so many details that I had straight up forgotten about or left out from the stories originally that I wish I explained more, because
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you could tell that I was very like triggered by all of it, like more than I thought I would be, because it's been 10 years. But for some reason, talking about it all and bringing it up, I realized I was saying like so much, and that's totally my nervous go-to word when I feel like, because I was sweating telling that story.
Dude.
Like I started getting like it just started coming back to me. And there was one big part of this story that I forgot. And it kind of went with our last week's discussion around body shaming. One of the big reasons that things got really bad with my roommate, Natalie, was not just the popcorn bowl. It was the night of the popcorn bowl when we had a big fight. And I completely had blocked this out. It just came to me the other night. And this was in my original YouTube video too. So if you had listened to that, you already know about this.
Geez. No. Yeah.
But I had gone in my room after our big fight and I slammed the door, and she screamed at me, "Your weight made the door slam."
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. And that was at the peak of my eating disorder. And that, I remember, really pissed me off. And that's when I came flying out of the room, screaming at her, crying. That's what really, because I was like, was it really the fucking popcorn bowl that did all of this? And no, that was the big thing, was her saying that about me, and me after that being like just infuriated because I didn't know how to react. It was like a total trauma response, and just, yeah.
Triggered you. Press the right button.
Oh, for sure. Especially at that time.
Terrible.
And yeah, so I think that's kind of where we really started hating each other. Because yeah, listening back to it, I was like, God damn, it was really over the popcorn bowl. No, there was a lot more to that whole thing.
Just like build up.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Not good.
No.
Not
so
good.
yeah, that was kind of a lot to like go over all that.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It was a lot.
It really was. Like more than I thought came up emotionally, even after 10 years.
Yeah, because that was a terrible time. You were like really scared for like...
I was.
Like scared.
And I could tell watching it back, I got scared all over again. Like you could see I was kind of shaky, and just the way I was speaking so fast.
Yeah,
and it was just a very anxious response. So yeah, sure, like you could tell how how tough that was. And yeah, I feel a lot more calm about what I'm going to talk about today because it's just something I'm so used to. Do we have time to get into it now, or should we take a quick ad break?
Yeah, let's go and take, I don't want to interrupt you after we get flowing here. So
because it's a lot.
And do a little ad break, and we'll be back to get a little deeper. Friends, if you dread looking at your credit card statements, you are not alone. I feel like so many of us accidentally swipe the credit card too many times, and then we look online and there's a giant statement. Maybe we can't pay it off, and then you're paying interest, which is the least fun of it all. But with Upstart, you can avoid that. Upstart is a fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan, all online. That's right, it's all online, everything on your computer. It's so convenient. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Another great thing about Upstart is the fact that they don't just look at your credit score. They also consider other factors like your income, your current employment, and your credit history to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in minutes for loans between $1,000 and $50,000, and you can receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. You no longer have to worry about being intimidated by walking into a bank to get a loan. You can do it all online with Upstart, and find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/sesh. That's upstart.com/sesh. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/sesh. Today's episode is sponsored by Honey, one of our favorite sponsors here. We have been using Honey, all of us, for years now, because we all shop online. Shopping online is the best way to go. You don't have to get out of your bed. You don't have to put pants on. You can sit in the toilet even if you want to shop online. It's the best. And with Honey, it makes it even better. We've all seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout, but thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is a free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. It's literally that easy, you guys. It's a no-brainer. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, and they range from tech sites to gaming products, fashion brands, clothing stores, even food delivery. And like I said, it's seriously so easy. All you do is when you go to your checkout, after you put all your stuff in your cart, go to checkout, and then Honey drops down, and all you have to do is click apply coupons. Then you just wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons it can find for that site. And then if it finds a working coupon, you will watch your prices drop, people. Last Saturday, John and I had a little Chinese delivery for ourselves. I used Honey, and I actually saved like $5 on my delivery. I was very, very excited about that. One of my favorite parts about Honey is the fact that, you know, when you used to have to go and Google promo codes, you would have to enter all of them to see which one saves you the most money, and then half the time none of them would even work. But with Honey, it does it all automatically, and it takes the best one for you and applies it, so you save the most amount of money, and you don't even have to think twice about it. And Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. And if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in just a few seconds. And by getting Honey, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. It's a win-win. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/thesesh. That's joinhoney.com/thesesh. You know what? One of my favorite things to do that's so comforting, it makes me feel cozy and just like a warm blanket has been wrapped around me, is cooking a home-cooked meal. I feel like there's just something so nice and comforting about a delicious warm dinner at the end of the day, and it makes me have a better sleep. And with HelloFresh, it's even easier because they have pre-measured ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. You can skip the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make a home-cooked, easy, fun, and affordable meal. And that is why they're America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh offers 50 menu market items to choose from every week, including vegetarian, calorie smart, and gourmet options, providing plenty of variety. Truly, you guys, they have so much variety on HelloFresh. I feel like you always can pick something that is right up your alley. I've never had a HelloFresh meal that I don't like. And if you're running low on time, no worries, because HelloFresh has quick and easy meals, low prep meals, one pan meals, and even 10 to 15 minute meals. And HelloFresh isn't just for meals, you guys. Their marketplace actually features a variety of snacks. This is one thing I feel like a lot of people don't know about HelloFresh, but it's actually a marketplace as well. They have snacks like fall's pumpkin cinnamon rolls to get you in the mood for cozy season. See, we're all about coziness here. And another great thing about HelloFresh is they offer flexibility. The flexibility you need to easily customize your order on the app within minutes. Easily change your delivery day, food preferences, and plan size, or skip a week whenever you need. John and I really do enjoy cooking a meal together. I feel like it's really fun, and I like it because I don't have to think about it much. I hate hate going to the grocery store, you guys. And I hate even more when I'm starving and I just want to get to cooking, but I can't. I have to go to the store first. That's honestly one of my pet peeves. But with HelloFresh, it's so nice because they're just waiting in your fridge right there for you with minimal prep. So you can get to cooking and eating in no time. So go to HelloFresh.com/Sesh14 and use code Sesh14 for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Sesh14 and use code Sesh14 for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping.
All right, let's get into things here.
Let's dive in.
Which,
by the way, we know we call this a therapy sesh, but this is not actual therapy.
No.
Please do not use this as therapy.
Well.
It is not intended as such.
And we are not using this as therapy for ourselves. We do
Absolutely
all
not.
have our own therapists as well.
We just like to talk about it.
Yeah, we just call it that.
There. Yeah, it's a cute little
because
name.
it is therapeutic for us.
Correct.
Something about coloring and talking to my best friends and all of you guys, my internet best friends, just really brings me comfort. It really does.
Yep, absolutely.
And I've been like fairly private about a lot of things in my life to protect me and things I wasn't ready to talk about. But when there's several things I've been very open about. You know, I've talked about my eating disorder, the roommate situation last week. Like there's been plenty, you guys have heard. Janelle and I have opened up a ton about our side of the family, our grandparents.
Yes, a lot.
So Janelle is my mother's brother's daughter. So we
My
are
dad,
cousins
her
on
mom.
that side of the family, just because people still get confused and think we're sisters.
No,
so I'm
yeah,
clarifying.
totally. Or like don't understand which side. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my mom's side of the family. And that side of the family is very calm. I can't
calm.
think of much like
Not a whole lot
drama
of
or
dramas.
trauma that has come from that.
No, not a lot. Not a lot going on, which is great.
Yeah.
A lot of wonderful memories from this side of the family.
Yeah, it is. I feel lucky for that. On my dad's side of the family, it hasn't always been the same. Going back since before I was born, my father is so important to me. I love him so very much, and he has been through a lot in his life, and it's just kind of carried on till now. Like things are getting brought up this week that are bringing up all this old trauma from my childhood, from his childhood, just really for all of us. So I don't really know how to go about explaining this. Let's see, where do I even begin? So pretty much since I was born and able to understand what was going around me, I have been around a lot of alcohol abuse and drug abuse. Sometimes not directly around it, but just aware of it and from afar affected by it. And it only grew more and more so as time went on. I've been in therapy a lot for that, just dealing with things I've seen and a lot of scary moments, which I know so many out there know what that's like, or maybe some of you who have been to Al-Anon can know what it's like to like affected by that second hand. It can be really just horrible. So luckily, no one in my immediate family, my mom, my dad, or my sister have ever had an issue with drugs. But there are many members of my family on my dad's side who have been greatly. And it's been something very hard because when I was growing up, I was very close with my cousins, the way that I was close with Janelle for years.
Even I was close with them.
Yeah, you spent time with them.
Not nearly as much as you, but yeah.
When they were children.
Yep.
And they had a very rocky, very different life than me and just got on the wrong track, didn't have the support that they needed. And my parents just throughout my whole childhood tried to step up and be kind of their parents too. And there was a time where they lived with us and we had been through so many different things with them. But as they got older, things just kept continuing to spiral and we slowly lost all three of my cousins. I mean, they're still here, but we've lost them. And I know some people know how that feels or what I mean by that. We have such a huge opioid problem in this country. Fentanyl's out of control. My family's been affected by every drug under the book, or in the book. And we really did try. There was, like I said, there was a time where they lived with us and we tried to do rehab and we've offered endless financial support, endless emotional support. And eventually it came to a point years ago before my parents separated that it was like destroying our family because there was so much stress, and which these family members, all of these people live on the East Coast, but it was still affecting us so much at our house because it was so emotionally draining for my dad trying to save his brother's kids essentially. And to be honest, it led to my parents' divorce, I think, or was a huge factor in that. And it seems like no matter what we do, we just can't get away from it. Because at some point we had to just realize that money, helping them financially, was only enabling them. And I know so many people out there relate to that, because this has gone on for, I'm talking 20, 30 years. It's happened since way before I was born that this type of stuff was happening. It's been something that we've kind of had to make this painful decision to kind of cut ties, because it wasn't just the addiction. It was also a lot of just bad treatment and abuse from that side of the family, abuse to my grandmother. And it was a very emotional decision, because like I said, I loved my cousins, loved them, thought they were the coolest people in the world. Deep down, I still do. And I love my uncle, and I'm very sad that it's all turned out that way. But at some point you have to realize that you just can't, if someone's not willing to save themselves, you can't save them. And throwing more money at the situation doesn't help, right? So, I don't even know how to really go about saying this, but all of this has been kind of re-brought up for me. It seems like my dad and I and my sister can't really escape this sometimes, because no matter what, there's always something going on. Someone's in jail, or someone's in the hospital, or someone wants money, or someone's trying to break into my grandma's house, or just, I mean, it's been just like chaos.
Constant drama.
Constant. And this has gone on for the last 10 years. And so a lot of you know, my grandmother moved out here and moved in with me for a little while, and then moved in with my dad. And this was a huge thing for me. This is something I had wanted for years. I love my grandmother. She's like, a second mother to me. She is such an important part of my life. And I've always wanted to have her here in Colorado, especially towards the end of her life, to have that quality time together and get to spend the holidays together. So she moved here last February, and I've been very excited. And this is something I haven't mentioned on the show, but Josh and I actually made the decision to move. We're going to be moving early next year. And part of that was so that my grandma could move in with us. We built a house so that we could build a bathroom on a main floor, a bedroom with a bathroom, so that she could access the shower. She was just unfortunately diagnosed with Parkinson's a few weeks ago. So,
which is just another thing on top of all of this,
right?
Even processing.
Exactly. That was extremely hard news to get, and just depressing, because I care about her so much. And when last time she stayed with me, she had a lot of tremors, and it was just so hard to watch. It's so hard to watch. And I know so many of you out there have lost grandparents in many different ways, and just know how hard it is to watch this person you love go through that.
Or parents or siblings. Yeah, just any.
So my dad has a smaller house that he loves, and he doesn't really want to move. So Josh and I were like, well, we'll take her. She can come live with us, because Josh and I love her. And God, I'm lucky I have a good husband, because he loves my grandma almost as much as I do. And he would do anything for me and for my family. And we were going to have her move in with us and take care of her, because she doesn't like the idea of assisted living. It's, it's not what her family members have done or what my grandpa did. So she wants to be at home. There's been a lot of just disagreement over how we should move forward with these family members who are still contacting us, still causing problems. And we have very different ways of seeing it,
I was going to mention, if you don't mind, that I feel like part of the reason why this move was so important, because I feel like to you, it was like closing that chapter of like all that years of drama. And like,
yes, because it was getting to the point where they were breaking into my grandma's neighborhood and harassing her this last year.
Right. And I think you being like, if we can remove her, then we can close that chapter and we don't have to keep dealing with it.
Yeah, that was the goal.
And that is unfortunately not the reality.
No. And I think it's like not even my place or any of our place, because a mother has such a different outlook on everything.
Absolutely.
So it's come to the decision that she's going to move back to Florida, which is really hard, because I did have this whole fantasy idea of her being here and maybe being able to meet my first child one day and get to spend this quality time with her, because I don't know how much time I have left. But it's become evident that the best solution for her, for many reasons, is to be in Florida. She's on oxygen here in Colorado. That's a lot harder. We're a mile high. So it's just much better at sea level. Plus, a lot of people with different conditions, things like Parkinson's, feel better in warmer climates. So it'll be better for her, and she'll be able to stay with my aunt, who's wonderful and cooks all the time and loves watching Hallmark. It'll be better for her in the end. It hurts and it's painful, and bringing up all of this stuff, this like past trauma that it seems like we can never escape. You know, it seems like we will always have to, no matter how hard we try to distance ourselves, or it's something that's like been a part of my life since I can remember, you know? And I'm tired, and it's very triggering to, even when it's something small, or I see an arrest, or I see a mugshot, and it's terrifying. You know, it haunts me. So yeah, I don't even know what else to say. It's just like been a really hard week.
I think you said it perfectly, and I think it's also so hard because it's like one thing for you to try and like close the chapter of whatever that is, or just decide to not associate with them, or whatever you need to do to move on. But it's another thing when someone you love so deeply has a different view, or whatever it is. And it's like, you know, it's hard to feel like you have the right answer of what someone should do. And then it's, you know, they're going to live their life how they want to at the end of the day. And like, who are you to say like, well, no, you should be here, or like, but
you can't,
you know, and it's hard.
And selfishly, I want my grandma to stay here because I want to have holidays with her, and I want to, you know, be able to have as much time with her as I can. But if that's not going to be what's best for her, and my grandma's super social. She has tons of friends, and she misses them. She wants to go back to Florida and see them. And I get it. And I can go visit. And it's just, it's a hard pill to swallow that, you know, I literally was designing her room and setting it all up, and I was very excited for 2022 and getting to live with her. And I don't know, it was just, no matter what I said, I couldn't change her mind, and that kind of hurt. But then I've realized that I want her to be happy, and if that's what she needs to do to be happy, then that's what I want for her.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
But it's been hard. It's like been a bitter pill to swallow, and just facing reality sometimes is very difficult.
Absolutely.
And that's what sucks sometimes, is that like when when your fantasy and your reality don't match up, it's that much harder to
give it up.
To give it up and to come to that realization. I had a completely different idea of it, and like it's almost like you let yourself down more in a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
like
feel
you almost feel
sometimes
guilty.
You can feel like, of course this would happen. Like, why did I, at least like I've experienced that when like big changes happen, and then all of a sudden things change and don't go down the path you thought they were going to go down, or you were seeing, or you were planning to. You almost feel like foolish, or at least I've definitely felt like that in a way of like, what the fuck? But then I also have felt guilt for these people.
Yeah.
Like, what more could I have done? Why couldn't I have done something more? Or
me, that's a totally.
And at the end of the day, it's like, you can't take that guilt. That's not your guilt to have. It's like, they're on their own journey, and they can, you know, they deserve to make those decisions. And it's like, selfishly, I feel like as we humans, we always feel like we have like the right answer for what other people should be doing or whatever. But it's like, at the end of the day, you want to be able to, you know that the people that you love the most are where they want to be, or where they're happiest, or
especially like at the end of their life. That's the best way I can possibly respect my grandma is by respecting her wishes for where she wants to spend the remainder of her life. And she just found out she has Parkinson's, so I get it. Like, I would probably want to be in Florida too over Colorado. It's fucking cold here. I know it's going to be the right move. I'm just like, I'm having a hard time letting go of the idea of, I really wanted her to be here when I have a baby and have Thanksgiving and Christmas with her, because I've never got to spend a Christmas with her. It's frustrating that it comes back. Like, I have so much anger towards, you know, these family members who have abused her and done horrible things to her, treated her like garbage when she is such a wonderful grandma, and that she still feels the need to help them. And like, I guess I can't even really understand what that's like, since I'm not a mom, and I don't know what that could be like. And she's a cancer mom too. Yeah. It's just been hard to accept, and a lot mentally to go through. And it's like, so on Monday, I had this really bad panic attack out of nowhere too, because I've just been so stressed out over everything that I went to the chiropractor. I left the office, and I had a great meeting with the Higher Love team, and I felt really good about everything going forward, and we're going to have a great year and all these new plans. I was in a great mood. I went to the chiropractor, went in there, and I have a great chiropractor who's what's called a Gonstead chiropractor. So they're it's like a step up from a regular chiropractor, and they take it very seriously and scan. So they use a scanner on me, and they were like, wow, you got a lot of stress and tension up in here in this middle of your back. And I was like, yeah, I've been really stressed out. So it gives me the cracks of life. And I felt great. And he makes you like walk around, make sure you're good afterwards. And I was fine. Then I get in the car, and it just seemed like everything hit me at once. Like suddenly my blood pressure spiked. I was sweating. I felt like this scary feeling. I don't even know what it was. And I felt like I wasn't even thinking clearly, because I felt like I have to get home. I need to get home. I'm close to home. I just need to get home. I didn't even put on music, or I had my purse in the side with my phone in my purse. So I didn't even get that out. And I just started driving home with like 10 and 2, just sweating. And then it just started getting worse, because I started feeling like I was going to wreck my car. Like I just had this feeling like and I was literally 5 minutes from my house.
Right.
And I thought I was going to crash, or I was going to hit somebody, or I was going to get pulled over. Like it just felt fearful. Like I shouldn't even be driving. But then I was so scared and panicking. And when you're having a panic attack, you're not in your right state of mind at all. You can't even think logically. So
you feel like you're dying.
I should have
literally like, am I having a heart attack? Am I dying right now?
I felt like I was dying, and I was like, I need to get home so I don't die. Like that was my only process. I need to get home. And I didn't even call Josh, because I didn't want to reach over to get my phone. And then I felt too afraid to even pull over, because I didn't trust myself to be able to safely pull over. So I was like, it was a straight shot down one road. So I just kept driving, and I was just driving super slow. I'm sure people were like, what the fuck? And I just had my hands like glued to the wheel, and I just was so scared. I got back and tried to calm down. Or were you just
like literally in a state of like
not crying
sheer,
yet?
Like, shock,
I started
panic,
crying like 30 minutes later. But then I got home, and I tried to meditate and just like get my breathing under control. Because at first I thought I was like having a heart attack. And that's the weirdest thing with a panic attack, where it comes out of nowhere and you can't pinpoint it. Then you're confused if like, is this a panic attack, or is this like, is something bad happening?
Thing. And I feel like, at least for me, because usually like for my panic attacks, it's like triggered by something, and it's a lot more like, it is physical, but I feel like the random ones are way more physical. Like I've only had like 2 in my life, where I was like literally chilling, and all of a sudden I was like, my heart was beating, my vision was tunneling, and I was like, I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was going to pass out. I was hearing like in my ears, and I was like, it was like, am I dying? Am I having a panic attack? And then you're like, oh my God, I'm dying. So then you start panicking.
Yeah. Or you feel like I'm going to die. Like this sense of just dread and fear.
It literally feels like you're dying. Like, like it literally feels like feeling. You're going to just fall over and die.
And I know so many people who experience that feel the same exact way. It's so I guess that in a sense is like, it's nice, like you're not dying, you're having a panic, but in the moment you're like,
you can't think that. You don't think you're having a panic attack.
Well, it's hard to know too, because most of my panic attacks are triggered by like arguments or yelling or loud, like anything that reminds me of past times. That's normally what triggers my panic attacks, or just like insane levels of stress. But when it happens like this and you can't even pinpoint a thing, it's terrible. Like you feel like you're dying. You're like, what is going on? So I'm sitting there meditating, trying to get my breathing under control, and then I just start throwing up. And then I started crying. So it's like, I just can't even, I feel like I don't even know what to say. It's been, no matter what type of attitude I feel like I have lately, I've been trying so hard to have a positive mindset and have a good attitude and do the best I can for myself and my mental health. And it just still feels like life is just punching me. Like no matter what, there's so many other things going on. I can't even get into all of it. But I've just been through so much in the past 2-3 weeks. It's been insane. It's been a huge, challenging time for me. And I just feel drained. You know,
I don't blame you.
I'm tired.
It's fucking tiring to be up in your head all the time. Anxiety is the most exhausting thing.
It is.
It is so exhausting to be thinking and about saying they're spiraling or what ifing your life away. It's so exhausting.
It is.
And that brings on, and stress and anxiety go hand in hand. And then you have bad sleep, and then you feel like crap, and then you don't want to do anything because it's like,
then your body starts hurting sometimes, and it's like, oh, is it my muscles hurting because I'm anxious, or is it hurting because I have something else?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it sucks.
And your body can totally have a reaction to that, especially with an autoimmune condition. My mom was reminding me of that because she has an autoimmune disease too. And she's like, when you go through times of stress, your body starts running off adrenaline, from your adrenal glands start releasing more adrenaline to compromise for the stress. And then eventually you get to like a crashing point. And I think I'm kind of at that crashing point this week. where I just feel like it's really starting to affect me physically. I woke up already throwing up this morning, like just bad. And don't tell me I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant.
Here we go.
I'm not pregnant. It's impossible for me to be pregnant this cycle. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, no, it's just manifesting in physical ways.
I think it really is. It is.
Stress is, I mean, yeah. Your body's like, okay, well, you're having a mental breakdown up here. We're also going to have a mental break or a physical breakdown, I guess you could say.
Yeah. It's like no matter what you try to do to like prevent that, sometimes it's just completely out of your control.
Absolutely. Yep.
So yeah, I've shared a little bit on here that I've recently started like my mental health journey in general, just because I've never gotten help before. And it's something that was definitely like due. It was like way overdue.
Yes.
But with like body pain and anxiety, it's crazy that I never really realized that anxiety will and it can like cause you physical ailments almost.
Yes, it does.
And it's like, I've always really thought that I've had like an autoimmune disease or something because there's like my body literally hurts for no reason. But ever since I've been, getting a little bit more help and everything, I've definitely noticed that those symptoms have like dwindled, I guess.
No, it's true.
Your mind and body are
the mind and body are totally connected. This is something I learned from my therapist last year because I was having so many health issues and we were trying to figure out where did all this start? Where did it come from? Because I've had reactivated Epstein-Barr virus for a long time, or Epstein-Barr virus, and that's caused by stress, especially childhood stress.
Yeah.
And you can literally store it in your body. And if you want to know more about that, a great book to start is The Body Keeps Score.
Amazing
It's
book.
a great read. It really breaks it down for you because it's so true. I don't think people realize that, especially like when they think, oh, that was so long ago in my life. I'm over it now. I'm fine now.
No, that's you tell yourself.
That shit's there. Your inner child still needs to be healed and heard.
You don't like realize how tense you are, like how tense your body is until it's relieved almost. You know what I mean? Like as soon as like my doctor told me that, she's like, your shoulders are really hard. And I was like, oh yeah, they're always like that. And she's like, no. Like that's not good. Like
that means you're carrying stress and tension and trauma all up there.
It is really crazy, like the way mental health literally affects us in every aspect of our life.
It does.
Every aspect.
It really does.
And things that happened forever ago, no matter how much you think you've been able to ignore it or push it away or forget about it, it manifests in other ways.
It does.
Trauma's like, hey, so
remember me?
You're gonna ignore me. Well, then I'll just come up in a different way where you don't notice it as much. Like,
yeah. And astrologers say sometimes your trauma resurfaces during retrograde.
oh, sick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Definitely.
so sick.
It definitely has.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. I was like,
Of course it does.
Well, everything
Love that
else
for her.
has. Everything else has gone wrong in this
whatever.
fucking.
But it's so interesting too that you brought that up because going back to the chiropractor thing, I had followed up with him because me and Sydney were researching it and she was like, dude, I think you had something called a toxic release, which is where a bunch of toxins and stress and hormones can build up in your body. And then I texted the chiropractor and he was like, yes, that's 100% what it was, because I hadn't been in a while and I've been through so much stress this month. I mean, seriously, I've not shared the half of it with you guys. It's been absolutely insane. And I think that's what happened is he released all of that, and that's good. But yeah,
And your
it
body's
came
like,
out in a whack
what
way.
do we do with all of this?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you're just gonna have to throw up and pass out or feel like you're gonna...
Yep, that's pretty much what I had to do. So yeah, it was wild. But I mean, yeah, you're so right. Our mental health is so important.
It is so
That's why it
important.
should be so much more prioritized in this country, on this whole planet.
Of course, yes.
And some countries do an excellent job of prioritizing mental health.
Yeah.
America,
Terrible.
not so much.
Terrible. And I think it's
Not
getting
so
better
much.
finally, but it is just now, I feel like, starting to become acceptable where like people can go to therapy for any reason. And it's not like only the people who are really
damaged.
damaged and really, went to have severe PTSD. That's more, what's the word I'm looking for? Only the people that have like more traditional PTSD in the sense of like what's in the textbooks or,
Right.
going to war. And of course that is obviously triggers of PTSD or anxiety, depression, whatever it is. But people can get that from just chemical imbalances in your brain where it's like has nothing to do with a horrible event or something. And it's like literally chemical imbalances in your brain that you have no control over.
Yeah.
And what we're just supposed to like, oh, well, or just ignore it or.
Well, that's the like traditional understanding of PTSD, right? Is it's connected to war and veterans
Right, exactly.
only, which obviously tons of veterans end up with PTSD.
Of
It's like
course, yes.
overwhelming numbers. And that book I mentioned, The Body Keeps Score, the beginning chapter talks about veterans in Vietnam and a lot of that, but then connects it back to how that you can still have a similar stress response, maybe not extreme, if you have been through trauma that hasn't been as intense as others. You know, it's such a spectrum, and just because I think that's what we think. Like, well, I haven't been through something horrific. I haven't had a family member murdered or this or that maybe I don't deserve to get therapy. It wasn't that bad for me. I was lucky it wasn't worse.
Absolutely.
And that's just the wrong mindset.
That was my mindset. Like before I got it, that was literally my mindset.
I remember and when we used to talk to you about it.
The body keeps score is so important. And for me, as somebody who was like diagnosed with PTSD, and I literally just got that diagnosis this year, like I didn't know that it would manifest itself in the ways that it did with me. And I don't want to get into it or anything, because it really did like impact, and it still does like impact literally every facet of my life.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point, and I mean, this was never talked about in any like school class or this was never like, nobody ever told me that a normal person can get PTSD. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I mean, not that would have changed much anyway, but
I think it's important to, continue to have these conversations, because if the more we can take away the stigma of it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to get help, even if you haven't, in your eyes, been through, people have it worse. Well, of course, someone always has it worse, and people always have it better. You know, everything is so relative that it's really not fair to yourself to be like, well, I don't deserve it, or I don't need to do it, or I'm stronger than that. It's what's really amazing to me are people who are strong enough to open that wound back up and clean it out in order for it to heal. Because it won't.
It's so hard.
It's so painful. And a lot of time, unfortunately, when you're doing self-work and you're doing therapy, it gets worse before it gets better, because you open up these things that you've been suppressing for years. And then you're like, fuck, now I have to face it and actually think about it. Well, great. Now I feel even worse. So it's like, I think a lot of people, unfortunately, like, are maybe even like scared of therapy, because opening up is fucking terrifying. And in order for it to really work, you have to, you can have the greatest therapist on earth, but if you're not willing to put in the work, then you're not going to get anything out of it. And it's scary to put in the work.
And if you are feeling scared to start that process, it's okay to tell your therapist that you're scared and you want to take it slow. Cause that's what I did. I was like, look, I've got a really busy job. I have big recordings. I kind of have to strategically plan the sessions where we're going to go over traumatic things, and I'm going to leave crying, and it's going to open that wound. Like I need a day or two before doing that. And you can find therapists out there who understand that and will take as much time as you need, and will work at your pace at a pace that's comfortable for you.
Because everybody's pace is completely different. Therapy is such a unique road for literally every it's completely different for everybody.
And I think some people have the misconception too that they're going to go in there and they're going to have to tell them every single bad thing that has happened to you your entire life and explain it from start to finish, and then they'll figure it all out.
Yeah, no, it's not
how it works.
Nope.
It's a much slower process, and if you find the right therapist, and that's another big thing, is don't settle for a therapist you don't think.
Don't feel guilty if you don't match with them. That's okay. Trust me, like, client therapist relationship is 70% of what matters. That's what matters, is building that rapport. Because it's weird to walk into someone who's like, okay, so I don't even know who you are. So I was born this date, and something terrible happened on this day, and something terrible happened on this day. And it's like so overwhelming to think like, let me just go into this random person, assume that they're going to somehow be able to understand what the hell am I going through. Because I feel like a lot of it is like, how will they ever understand? They don't even know who I am.
Right. And you're like, where do I even start? Right. My life is such a long fucking story. And I feel like everyone feels that way.
Yep. Totally. But good therapists are very used to hearing like, I'm scared to be here, because it's fucking scary.
And starting somewhere is the best thing that you can do. Even if it's a small start and you go to therapy one time and then you feel like, okay, I need a couple weeks. That's okay too. You can always take breaks and like make this on your own time. But it's so important. And I'm glad, Karelly, you've taken that step for yourself this year, because I've just seen so much change in you, just your confidence and your ability to handle things. Therapy does a lot.
Your thought process
It really does a lot. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I had to go back. I've been to therapy since I was diagnosed with ADHD at like 5. So I've been in and out of therapy my whole life, but I had to go back recently. Janelle had to be like, you need to go back because I can tell that you need it. And I needed someone to tell me that. And it was the best thing I ever did, you know?
Yeah, honestly, same. Like, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. And it's so, like, when I first started, like, I always felt very selfish talking about it and, like, kind of, I guess, going in general. Yeah, like, a lot of the time I'm going in there and it's like, oh, like, maybe it's not as bad as I say. But then once your therapist gives you that validation and tells you, once they tell you, or once you hear that from somebody else, that like whatever you went through was really hard, look at it from a different perspective. Don't look at it like through me, look at it through like somebody else who's like looking at my life. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Being able to have a third party person who does it, is unbiased to the situation and can just give you true advice.
Or just have you look at things in a different way. Or sometimes like my favorite is when my therapist would be like, I'm curious as to blah, blah, blah. Or like, I wonder if such and such connects with this. And I'm like, never thought of it like that. Holy shit.
And like, it's crazy how like the lines start connecting as they're like saying things. And it's, I don't know. It's something that I think no matter like what you're going through, whether it be big or small, like it doesn't matter. I think that's something that everybody should experience. Just to get things off your chest. Like you need to like get those thoughts out and then close that book sometimes.
And this is why we need access to affordable healthcare for everyone.
Yes. Especially mental health.
Everyone can benefit from it.
So underfunded. It's so, and I also want to, make clear that I'm not saying getting to therapy is easy.
No,
a lot of people, finding a therapist is hard. Finding a way to pay for it is
sometimes
fucking
your insurance
hard.
doesn't
finding a way to get to therapy is hard.
Therapies through your,
it's
a challenge,
hard, and it sucks. It's like it shouldn't be. It's really not fair. Obviously, our healthcare system is terrible for many reasons. That's a whole other issue. But like, why is it that we, traditionally go to the doctor to get a checkup and, try to do preventative things, and they check on your this and that and make sure your hearing's good and make sure your eye or whatever it is, but we don't do that for our brain. Yeah. We usually wait until it's bad
wrong.
enough. It's so bad that we're like, okay, can't handle this by ourselves. Might need to get some help or some third part, some professional help here. It's like, why do we do that? Why?
It's not easily accessible for most people, or it has
and there's
a stigma
giant
around
stigma
it.
around it, right? And it's sad that there is. In my opinion, the most important thing in our body is our mind.
Sucks because our brain. So many people just don't have the access to it. Even a few years ago, I was with Kaiser Permanente, and I don't know how many of you are out there of Kaiser. I think it's just limited to the California, like in the West,
it's a couple states,
but it's kind of like a factory type situation where it's very like in out. Get the routine, just like check the boxes. And back when I was with them, I decided to go to therapy again for my eating disorder. And I had the worst experience ever with this girl. She seemed so judgmental, like looking like she wasn't even understanding what I was saying. And I spent 2 sessions completely opening up to this person who I felt like was judging me the whole time, and it was super traumatic. And then she quit the next time. So I didn't even get to like continue that therapy. And it was just like, oh, I opened up this huge wound for no reason. This girl was judgy to me and then just left.
Oh, now you have this open wound. You're like, oh my God, can someone stitch me back up? Like, what am I doing here?
She left Kaiser because it was bad. And I mean, I don't know how everyone else's experience with been with Kaiser. I know my dad really likes it, but
it's really unfortunate that so many
that was my only
professionals are like, the burnout rate is fucking insane.
Yeah.
You don't get taken care of financially when you're doing really hard work. It's secondary trauma is so real for a lot of healthcare workers and teachers, and it's just
so true.
It's really sad that there's such a stigma still, but yet it seems like mental health impacts literally every person on this earth. Why are we not taking it more seriously? And I think nowadays, that's starting to slowly come around. And I think that more so than ever are we validating the need for mental health care and normalizing going to therapy and taking away the stigma of anxiety and depression. It's more appreciated to, like, when you talk about it, you're more validated versus I feel like a while ago you can really open up about that stuff, or people didn't understand it, or, so I think it's getting better, but
it is. I
think there's a long way to go, especially for people who do not have the means to go to therapy, to pay for therapy, people who need medications. That's a whole different fucking thing.
Yeah,
it's like your therapist most of the time is not prescribing you medication. So you got to go to 2 different people, and they don't make it easy. That's for sure. And for how much is going on in this earth, I mean, my God, these, like, I feel bad for the generations that are growing up with things that are popping off left, right, and center in our country, in our world.
Well, we were just talking about it before we started recording, how like great it would be to be able to get our future children in therapy young, even if there's no like issue or anything, just to get them used to talking about things. Cause shit's wild. I can't imagine anyone's not being mentally affected by the state of the world right now, and the toxicity, it feels like we're on the verge of a civil war sometimes. I mean, it's just like, it's a lot. It is a lot. Sometimes it's hard to get your brain to just quiet about your fears for the future. That's a big part of where my anxiety comes in, is stressing about the future and what's going to happen, and making up situations that haven't even happened yet.
Yep. Isn't that the best?
Yeah.
Sometimes I literally have to give myself a reality check and be like, okay, wait, stop.
Yeah.
None of those things have happened or are looking like they're going to happen. You have to not freak out about that right now, because it hasn't even happened.
This is when I bring out my Whoopi Goldberg in my head.
Good.
She comes out and she tells me that.
She's like, Kendall.
She's like, yeah. Like, I can just imagine what she would say.
That's wonderful. Damn.
Life is too short to stress, or something like that.
Did you guys see that Ariana Grande donated $5 million to like BetterHelp or something, which is amazing, which is again like
amazing.
Kind of destigmatizing it.
Yes,
I hope.
I did see I was a little confused about that. It was in partnership with BetterHelp.
Well, they have like $5 million of like free mental health.
So that was donated to BetterHelp through Ariana.
So
wow,
I believe, I think
cool.
so. I don't know how you could sign up for it. I'm sure they have like a payment.
Or maybe they like collaborated on the donation.
I don't
or something.
know. But
that's really
but she
cool.
donated.
She does things like that all the time. She's such a kind person.
And that's really cool to see really like big names out in the world. I think that's one thing that's really been amazing in the last several years is huge celebrities have come out and been like, I go to therapy. I've been fucked up. You think my life is so glamorous. I'm a celebrity. I'm rich and famous. And it's like, mental health doesn't discriminate against a single fucking person. Every single person, no matter rich, poor, famous, not whatever it is can
probably
be
gonna have something in their life.
This.
Yes.
One person that comes to mind is Demi Lovato. They always like they're so open about their mental health in general.
Mental health, yeah.
Yep. They really are. And there's just been endless amounts of people. And then speaking celebrities aside, just the amount of people who have gotten on social media, gotten on YouTube or TikTok and shared their stories and get it. And hearing something like that, especially with the way the TikTok algorithm works, it's so weird. Sometimes what I'm going through mentally, I'll get served content of people going through the same thing.
Literally same.
And then I feel less alone though.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
like,
absolutely.
Just I think talking about it more, since pretty much all of us face these issues.
Why are we so embarrassed to discuss it?
I know.
It's sad that like if you, I don't know, got into a horrible accident and were really physically injured or something, like I think most people would be more comfortable talking about that, because it's like there's a physical, you broke your arm, let's say. It's like, oh, my arm broke, it hurts so bad. But then like when you go through something mentally, it's like harder to open up about, because if fear of people won't understand, or they're going to judge you, or they're going to think you're fucking weird for having those thoughts.
That's what I thought about today. I was so nervous to come on here and discuss some of these things, like some of these deep issues that have been going on in my family, because there's so much shame around it and guilt, and I don't want to be judged or like to have my family judged. Right. But yeah, it feels good too at the same time to just be able to say some of this.
It does.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do feel like the Sesh is a safe place. I love our audience.
I couldn't agree more, truly.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we've created a really safe environment. And by we, I mean like the viewers, really. Because I mean, you guys are the ones watching and commenting. We're just like out here talking to cameras.
Our comments, I love our comment section.
The comments are amazing. And it feels so good. When I see you guys like uplifting each other, someone will comment something and people will comment back, and I'm like, God, this is an amazing community. This is like the coolest thing ever. And I feel so, oh no, I'm gonna cry. I feel so blessed that we have the opportunity to reach thousands of people and be able to talk about this and in an honest way and be authentic, and it's so well received. Didn't cry during that, but I might.
I know it's really been amazing. This group of people, like the internet can be such a toxic place, but it's such a positive environment here. And I truly do feel safe. Like I could never get on my channel and talk like this, or I don't know. It's something about you guys. It's like, I've said it before, but your vibe attracts your tribe. And I feel like you guys are that tribe that is our vibe. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's so true. Like this is exactly the type of people I wanted to watch this show.
Yeah.
And I feel like whatever we say, like you guys can relate to, and that's what's so cool about it.
It's kind of amazing. We can go from reading Reddit things or tasting chips or telling funny stories to having serious episodes like this, and that you guys are so like flexible and down for whatever it is we're doing on this show, most of you. So thank you. Thank you
for real,
for listening.
It's awesome.
It means a lot. And thank you in advance for all the kind comments I know you guys are going to send, because you're amazing. And we just appreciate it so much.
You're gonna get through this, you know?
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna get through this.
Be stronger on the other side.
Yes.
My favorite
after
thing.
retrograde ends.
This bitch needs to end. One of my favorite things to tell myself is like, okay, you didn't come this far just to come this far. So let's fucking keep rolling, bitch, because you got shit to do.
That's true.
Yeah, I've got big plans for next year. I gotta keep it up.
That's fucking right.
And everything always happens for a reason.
It does.
And no matter like how fucked up it seems.
In the moment. Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's really true.
Most things in my life were like, I can think of where it's like, I thought it was the worst thing ever. It was like terrible. Usually something better happens, or there's a reason why that happened, or I'm thankful that happened.
It's so true.
You know, the hardest things that I've ever gone through in life, I'm like, would I change it? No, because I've made so much personal growth through that. I've been able to be a better person, a better friend, a better sister, a better daughter. You know what I mean? Like, and hopefully a better mom one day.
Yes. That's part of personal growth. That's a human experience to experience but to go through things that are going to force you to grow, force you to change. And some people change for the worst or don't grow at all. And it's all about taking these experiences and trying to grow and go forward in a more positive way. I mean, that's all really you can do, because we all face these challenges. You know, life isn't easy, and it's not meant to be easy. I think our souls go through things for a reason so that we can develop more.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, how boring would it be? Think about it really, if everything was just like the same all the time. No one had emotions.
Nobody changed.
Nobody changed. I hate when people are like, you've changed. I'm like, I would hope I've changed.
I know. People say that to me too.
10 years? Yeah, probably.
I would hope I've changed. Bitch, thank you. That's a compliment to me. Yes, I've changed, and I will continue to change.
I know. I've changed a ton since I first got on YouTube. Sometimes I look at my old self and I'm like, wow, I was way different.
And like, as we should, we're evolving humans through this life.
We'll probably be completely different people in 10 years. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. 100%. So anyways, guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us if you've made it to the end. And hopefully some of you, maybe feel better after listening to this, or less alone. It can feel really lonely out there when you're having crappy thoughts. And yeah, I always really appreciate it when other people are willing to open up, people that I watch on the internet, podcasters, when they're able to be real. Yeah. Because I feel like that's the type of show I want to watch, that we can be funny and stupid and light things on fire, but then we can also like have a real conversation because we're real fucking people. Yeah. And that's that. And that is that.
That is.
I agree.
Yep.
All right. So anyways, guys, we really appreciate you hanging out with us.
I'm surprised I made it through this episode without crying. Like, my eyes are out of tears. I've been like, can I just feel it and get this out right now? I'm having a therapy sesh. Yeah. But no, I've cried so much over the last 2 weeks that I have no tears left to cry.
No tears left to cry.
So
wow.
Giving it up, bringing it.
And on that,
what is it? Okay.
Picking it up. Okay. I think we better wrap it up there before it gets too wild.
You guys rock. We promise next week we'll be back with something fun, something interesting, something that's not so heavy.
Yeah, but we appreciate you hanging out with us during this heavy episode.
Yeah,
we do.
Thank you for always being there to listen.
Oh, and the dogs are crying. All right, that's our cue. Bernie's
crying. He's like, I've got plenty of tears left to cry.
Okay, well, get your ass up here. We'll cry after this is over. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next session. But until then,
keep it fresh.